A video you guys like? Who would win now, in 6 months and in a few years? Who is at a higher level? Who has more potential for the future? Joan or Josema? Today I'm going to analyze the two Spanish bodybuilders and I'm going to speculate about it. I'll give my opinion. As you all know, Jose has announced his move to the open category and he's going to start preparing for 2027. Currently, he weighs 132 kilos at a height of 181 and Joan is around 180, 179 and has reached up to 146 in the off-season. That is 14 kilos more than Josema, but it's worth mentioning that it was with much worse conditioning, so I don't think there's as much of a weight difference as it seems. If both of them were shredded right now, in contest shape, what could we expect? Well, Josema has already competed at classic weight. Sometimes he's weighed in at 99, other times he's had to be at 103 for the competition. The thing is, the maximum weight he's come in at after carb loading, which increases a lot. The weight has been around 107 if I'm not mistaken. And me? Andy has competed at a maximum weight of about 115, that's about 7 kilos more than Josema. Can we make comparisons right now of Josema's look at Mr. Olympia at about 107 kilos? As for Joan's look in his last competitions, some time has passed. Josema has improved since then, Joan has improved since then. They're not at the same point since both are in the off-season. I think it's interesting to make some comparisons like the front lat spread for example. Do we have back double biceps and side chest? Or should I keep showing comparisons while I explain? Joan looks great in the off-season, even with a high body fat percentage, as does Josema. Both store fat well and look amazing. The only downside is we lack a point where they have similar conditioning or weights for comparison, but we'll have it soon. Who would win as of today? If both of them got shredded? If both of them were, let's say, ready today? Right now I think Joan. Not by much though, just a little. In fact, I think that currently, if both of them got shredded, Joan would win, but not by much, just a little. In fact, I think that currently, if both of them got shredded, Joan could come in at around 120. Having gained about 5 kilos from one season to another, I think that would be a pretty good gain with good definition. And that Josema, knowing him and seeing what he's capable of, could come in around 110, 115, very shredded. As of today, I think I would beat him. In the front poses, front double biceps, abs and thighs, those. The front lat spread would be there. In the most muscular, I think so too. And in the side poses. The chest pose would be very close. The triceps pose I think would also be close. It's not good for either of them. And in the two back poses, obviously, as of today, I would even beat him. Josema in about 6 months or a year. Come on, let's say that in a year, Josema will be competing in open. I think Joan will have kept improving. He might have even qualified for the Olympia by then. This is all just speculation for entertainment. Obviously, Josema is hard to predict. He would have spent a year focused on the category, gone through a cutting phase, and prepared well. And I figure, having seen the absurd rate at which he puts on size, and that Raul can bring him in at 103 kilos shredded, but he can also bring him in at 107 just as shredded. I mean, I don't know how he does it. I think Josema could be, in about a year, at around 115, 120 kilos shredded, and much improved, because his body was, let's say, eager to grow. He had spent a very long time in continuous prep, always shredded, eating little, in a deficit, and the moment he took the brakes off, he exploded. And I think this is going to continue like this for a while, improving very quickly really. I think he does things very well, is sensible, and trains perfectly. In fact, it's curious because he trains a tenth of what Joan trains. It's an incredible thing. It's amazing how they can do the opposite. And I think Josema even improves more. He has good density. He has very good genetics when it comes to separation. He has deep cuts. His muscles get striated quickly, and he finds it easy to get very lean. In Joan's case, and here I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to improve at the same rate as Josema. There's a catch since he's starting from a higher point, right? But I think that over time, Josema is going to catch up to him in weight, in lean mass, okay, in terms of muscle mass, and he might even surpass him. At least in terms of weight, then the look is a very different thing. Joan has a spectacular structure. I think his waist has the potential to look slimmer in some poses than Josema's. For now, Joan's waist isn't growing, it's staying the same, and I think Josema's waist is going to get bigger. I think he's going to look better in the double biceps pose, with an incredible X shape, even in the abs and thighs, in the front lat spread, and Joan's legs have that pump, that amazing shape that Josema's don't have. Unfortunately, his quadriceps are flat. Joan's hamstrings are worse with a poorer insertion, while Josema's are at Mr. Olympia level. The same applies to the back. It's interesting because these bodybuilders are almost complete opposites. They both have triceps that aren't remarkable in some ways, but overall they're opposites in structure and strengths, which is very interesting. But anyway, in about a year or so, I think they're going to be pretty evenly matched, and that I'm sorry, okay? I think he's going to come out on top. If they faced each other in a year, Josema would win. Today, Joan would win. In a few months, Joan would win. But in a year, if Josema and Joan faced each other, I would bet on Josema. I have higher expectations for Josema. And if we look at the long term, 2 or 3 years, honestly, I can't tell you. There are many factors that can influence it. Injuries, illnesses, each person's motivation, their goals. I think Joan is more ambitious. He wants to be Mr. Olympia and make history no matter what. Granted, he does some pretty cringe things on TikTok. I do think it's true that his obsession is on another level. Josema works hard and puts in a lot of effort, but I don't think he'll push himself just to win an Olympia. Being competitive seems enough for him based on what he said and what his preferences are, which he himself has said. I think in that sense, maybe in the long run, Joan will stay in bodybuilding longer than Josema. He pushes himself harder than Josema, maybe takes more risks. And I think that Josema, as he has already said, will retire around 30 or even earlier. So, who would win? We would win, because we're going to have 2 amazing Spanish bodybuilders, probably winning several competitions and getting a good placement at the Olympia. I think so. No, but seriously now, at the same body fat percentage, I think right now Joan would win. In a few months it's going to be very close, and in a year or 2, Josema will beat Joan. Some people may dislike this video since it's controversial, but everyone has their own opinion. I think both of them have what it takes to make an impact in open. Joan's pumped quads, structure, and shoulders are incredible. In Josema's case, his back is super strong, and so are his hamstrings. That separation and ability to bring extreme conditioning each has strengths, with one excelling in one area and the other in another. Currently, the one with the highest level in terms of titles, competitions won, and Olympia placement is Josema, obviously. But it's also important to say that he's classic and Joan is open, he's in the big league. And now that both are in open, with no weight limit, on equal terms, we'll see what they're capable of. Surely they'll have to face each other again as they have before, and since Josema already finished ahead of Joan, we should note that too. Not everyone knows, but Josema started out in open and competed in that division. When he debuted in open after turning pro, he did very well despite little bodybuilding experience. Anyway, place your bets. Who do you think will be better in the short, medium, and long term? I'll read your comments as always. I want to finish by saying that great years are coming for Spanish bodybuilding, not just because of these competitors, but also because of Kim, Mauro, Ferran, Camilo, and many others. We are growing in numbers and improving, and so are the Hispanics, Colombians, and Mexicans. With stronger competitors each time, everyone benefits. This is a video that's a bit about rivalry, right? About competitiveness. But in the end, no matter who wins, we all win, and great years are coming. I'm not going to say anything else. That's it for today's video. I'll say goodbye now. See you in the next one.